Hello everyone, I hope you all are having a very productive day. So today we're going to talk about a very outstanding new plugin, the Union by Soundspot. It's a wavetable hybrid and creates a very amazing sound. Very easy to use, uses less CPU, and the sonic character is just outstanding because the wave shapes are all analog. We're going to talk about the structure of the plugin, the signal flow, and we will actually create a sound in it so you can understand how it all works. So let's get started with the default patch. Here you have all the libraries, the author, the bank, the category, and the presets. So for example, if I open the preset from here, right, so I can categorize my presets. Right, so in this way you can categorize your presets. So let's go ahead and load our initial preset from here and create a sound. And on the way I'm going to tell you everything about the synth. So first of all, we have two analog single wave cycle oscillators here, and each oscillator contains 7 single wave cycles. We have sine, square, saw, triangle, noise, organ, and metallic. And all the wave shapes are analog, so you have a very good sonic character, especially on the high end. So after you choose the wave shape from here, so let's say I choose the square, you have unison voices which can go up to 32, and on top you have the tuning section, the octave tuning, semitone tuning, fine tuning, and the coarse tuning. You can modulate the fine tuning and the coarse tuning right here. The interesting thing about the Union is that you have the individual control for each filter. So if you click on this lens option right here, it will open up the window to treat your individual oscillators. For example, we have the ADSR section here, so you can create the volume controls. So I'm going to go ahead and create a volume control here. And you can zoom in and out from this section right here. Right here we have the modulation envelope. Each oscillator has its own modulation envelope, and here we have the LFO, so you can generate your own LFO and assign these either the modulation envelope or the LFO modulation envelope to either of these settings down here. So let's go ahead and apply the modulation envelope on the cutoff. So if you click on this option right here, you see it changes the color, and right now it's being modulated by the envelope here. And if you click it one more time, it turns into green. That means the LFO, which is also green in color, is modulating the cutoff now. From this arrow section you can choose your filter type. So let's go ahead and create the low pass filter 24 decibel, and from here you can control the modulation amount. You see the white line here, this curvy line, it's controlling the modulation amount. So I'm gonna go ahead and create the envelope modulation here. Right, and let's go ahead and increase some resonance. One more cool thing that I like about the oscillators is this phase option. It creates a very nice movement if you modulate the phase. So let's do this. For phase to be activated in a proper way, you have to activate other oscillators as well. So let's go ahead and process the second oscillator. In the LFO section, you have these speed which can change the LFO to straight, triplets, or dotted, right? So you can change the speed of the LFO in the respective synchronized option. Alright, so after you set the single wave cycle, the signal goes through this effects section right here. We have the phaser, the delay, the distortion, and the reverb. So let's go ahead and apply some phaser and let's say distortion a little bit. And the combined signal then is being used to create the wavetable. So if you click on this option right here, the generate wavetable, it will create the wavetable using this wave and this wave with the effects you apply on the section here. So you can see that it creates the wavetable. If you click it one more time, it will create another wavetable and you will have different options, right? And if you drag it from here, you can change the position of the wavetable. Now you can also edit the wavetable section separately. So let's go ahead and do that. Another cool thing is that after you create the wavetable, you can actually change the wave shape and it will not affect the wavetables here. So let's say I change the wave shape to square here and triangle here or organ here, it won't change the wavetable. And I can also change the effect. You can turn off the oscillators from this button right here. Alright, so after you do that, we have the volume control for each oscillator here, and you can mute it from this button. Right, so it's a very cool option. Now let's look at some more modulation options. So if you click here, you will get the wavetable modulation in this section. You can control the left and right side of the wavetable. You can either link them or you can edit them separately. So let's say I want to control it with help of the LFO, so I can click here 2 times and the LFO will control the wavetable position. And I can do the same for this section right here. And I can change the amount using this option. You can also link them. And if you don't want the left and right side to be that much distinctive, you can change the mid side option right here. Right, so in this way you can get a nice movement in the sound. Other than that, we have the LFO modulation option here, which can control different parameters of the effects. So let's go ahead and create the modulation here. The difference between oscillator modulation and the LFO modulation right here is that in the LFO section you have the trigger setting as well. So these settings can control the effects section For example, let's say I want to change the distortion and create a modulation for it. So I will go ahead and click in this button right here. Right now it's showing 1, so that means that the LFO 1 is controlling the modulation. And if you click it one more time, the LFO 2, LFO 3, LFO 4, and back to 0. So let's control it with LFO 1. Now if you play the pattern, you will get the modulation for the distortion. So in this way you can create the modulation for the effects as well. Another cool thing is that you can change the sequence of your effects using this button right here. For example, I want my dynamics before the reverb and after the distortion. So I can drag and drop it here by holding this button. The Union is a very cool mixture of the analog and the digital properties of the synthesizer, and the sound engine is very powerful and very easy to use. So if you are looking for quick results, better results, a clean high end, Union is your synth. There are plenty of options to generate the wavetables, plenty of combinations. With the effects section right here, you can create many crazy things with this synthesizer. So this is it for this video. I'll see you around with some more cool synthesizers.